In today's brief video, I want to take a moment and discuss the problem with developing a high tolerance for smoking weed. This is a two-part problem, and in my opinion, part 2 is much more serious than part 1. So hopefully you stay tuned for that. Now, if you wind up enjoying the content in today's video, be sure to check out the pinned comment or the video description below to learn more about our one-on-one coaching programs, our Addiction Mindset School community. It's a group coaching community, or where you can find some of our free PDF handouts on how to quit. Problem number 1 with developing a high tolerance for weed is what it does to your body physiologically. So your body makes its own endocannabinoids. You can think of this as your body making its own THC and CBD, two of the active components found in the cannabis plant. So your body makes its own. And these endocannabinoids regulate something called your endocannabinoid system. And this system largely oversees a bunch of different body functions. So bone growth, sleep, emotional control, digestion, mood support. It's like the master regulator, they call it, for all these other systems in your body. When you develop a high tolerance for weed, eventually your body is going to stop making its own endocannabinoids. And this is really where we see a dependence on weed develop, that physical dependence. You become physically dependent upon consuming weed because your body's downregulated or no longer making its own endocannabinoids. So now you need to get that CBD, THC, and all those other endocannabinoids from the cannabis plant. Technically from a plant, they're called phytocannabinoids. So your body shuts off its own production. I'll give you another example. This is like someone who takes steroids. Say you got a male who's taking testosterone replacement therapy and they're abusing it. Well, over time, their body's gonna stop making its own testosterone. And then when they quit, they have a major problem on their hands when they quit taking steroids because now their body's not making its own. Now, unlike steroids, over time, your body will start to produce its own endocannabinoids again. But this is one of the major reasons why, if you're smoking on the regular, you want to try and take a tolerance break. Tolerance is also a hallmark sign or signal of a developing addiction. The higher your tolerance is for the drug, the greater your addiction potential. An increased tolerance is a hallmark sign of addiction and dependence. By increasing your tolerance, you are actively practicing getting addicted to the drug. Whether that's weed, alcohol, nicotine, it doesn't really matter. Pills, this could apply to any substance. Now, problem number 2, which I think is actually much more serious, is as my tolerance for weed went up, my tolerance for day-to-day BS went up. And by BS, I mean bullshit. My tolerance for that started to escalate. And it escalated in a few different ways. I had a higher tolerance for BS from people at work, my employers. I had a higher tolerance for BS in my relationships, significant relationships. I had a higher tolerance for BS from friends, from family, from coworkers. I had a higher tolerance for BS in many areas of my life that quite frankly deserved a zero tolerance policy looking back on it at this point. And even worse than elevating my tolerance for other people's BS was the elevated tolerance for my own excuses, the elevated tolerance for my own BS. How many times was I willing to accept excuse after excuse after excuse? Oh, this isn't why you're in the shape you want to be in. Oh, this isn't why you're making as much money as you could be making. Oh, this isn't why your business is struggling right now. I came up with so many excuses and so much BS, and instead of trying to change it, instead of actively doing something different to create a change in my life, I would go home, get high every night, watch pornography every night, and I would get totally lost in that delusional world created by addiction. And it allowed me to tolerate all of the things in my life that I didn't want to be tolerating anymore. And here's the crazy part about that. So I was smoking to escape the work BS. I was smoking to escape the relationship BS. I was smoking to escape my physical health that I had created for myself, my financial health that I had created for myself. Here I was smoking to tolerate the BS when day in and day out, my lifestyle was becoming more and more intolerable. And now I'm trying to mask that pain of intolerance with smoking more. You can't take the thing that's causing the problem and hope to use that as a solution to the problem. This is part of this is an issue. And this is what I'm talking about when we develop a high tolerance for smoking weed. So it's a twofold problem. The physiological changes that are happening in your body, which are going to make it harder to quit over time. In theory, the higher your tolerance, the more struggle you're going to have quitting, because it's going to take longer for your own endocannabinoid production to rebound. And then you have the tolerance for BS. People say be tolerant, be tolerant. I agree. In many ways, yes, there are certain things that are worth tolerating, right? You don't want to catch a case over nothing. But there's a lot of things that I look back on, behaviors from other people, behaviors from myself, that I should have had zero tolerance for. And guess what? Quitting weed, the sooner that I addressed those things, the greater my life started to improve. And then suddenly I didn't need to have this super high tolerance for BS, because the BS in my life dramatically decreased. And I'll say this, it's through quitting weed now that I actually have a significantly higher stress tolerance when it comes to my relationships, when it comes to my work life, when it comes to my career. I have a significantly improved ability to tolerate challenging situations without weed, because now I'm no longer having to tolerate the BS of active cannabis addiction. That cleared up a lot of space for me to tolerate a lot of other things in life that are arguably unavoidable in some circumstances, and handle them a lot better. If this is something you need help with and you just need a little bit of help or some ongoing support, check out the Addiction Mindset School community. It's a group coaching community where we have live discussions just like this. It's me actually live in the group. If you need more dedicated help, check out our one-on-one coaching programs. And if you simply are looking to get the ball rolling but you're struggling with cravings and withdrawals, be sure to check out our line of Kick It, Crave Less chewing gum products. It's a chewing gum designed with N-acetylcysteine and KSM-66, designed to help you get through that first hump when it comes to quitting. Good luck. I'll see you in the pinned comment or the video description.